Yeah, well, there's a bit of a complication with the Miorichi wanted a slot. Okay, or never mind about that, we're going live. So we have, for the first hit up, a Smoker, Hunter, Boomer, and I can hear a Witch as well, actually. It is 11% Witch, so yeah.
Indeed, she's actually spawned up below the bridge, I do believe. So we'll see the SI probably go ahead and look for a setup on top of her. Maybe try and drag the Starvers into her. But I believe she's on the opposite side of the bridge off to the left side here. In fact, let's just go hunt her down. Reloading. Indeed, she's actually up in the pine tree there. I don't believe the Star is actually going to waste time going for her. She's kind of out of the way. And this tank's also at 60% of the way through the map, so they can kind of play it in a forward position up front. But regardless, they're going to go ahead and look to take the ladder now. It's going to be, once again, Smoker, Charger, Boomer, and a Hunter here. So a 3-1 with the Boom. This can actually cause a lot of havoc here. Boomer rocketing in. Does land a single Boom with the proxy. Smoker pulling Lewis back up top. He does actually get cleared, though. And the Charger looks for the charge. Does miss it. Hunter also landed on the Times New Roman there for a second. But he did get cleared as well. Charger going Hail Mary with these punches. And actually quite a bit of damage. Around 50 damage coming out from that first hit.
It's through this tunnel.
Yeah, I mean, usually on a hit like that with a ladder choke, you'd expect a significant more damage because of how dangerous it is for survivors and how limited their options are for maneuverability. They don't have much space, and it's quite easy to catch a Charger, but they do have a tank up, and the Boomer did get popped to the back. Tank is up in the hands of Keening.
Indeed, we'll see the Spitter going through himself in there. Boomer does land on the run back there onto Francis, though, as well. And now the thing is, they're actually not going to push this tank up, so they're going to fall back, and the Witch is currently still up. They might kill it here on the way back, though. It doesn't look like they're actually going to go for it. They're going to play it safe, though.
Yeah, there was a Smoker waiting for them. There's still one Boom. That would have been quite a hazardous risk to take to try and get that Witch kill.
Yeah, that could definitely come south pretty quickly.
Oh, I see. Times New Roman is Jaguar, who is a Left 4 Dead 1 player as well. So yeah, it's as I thought. It's the same roster they played with Team Vatican Dead Air match.
Oh, okay. So yeah, we will see Kingdom go ahead and position himself up in the tree line here, looking to rain down some rocks upon the survivors. We have a Hunter positioned up on the cliff already, and the Stars most likely heard him spawn and start hopping around up there. So they do know that he's up there, and the second and third spawn will be a Smoker and a Charger. And bodyguard saying no to it. So we'll see Kingdom start pelting down rocks upon the survivors. Attack going in, 100 gets the skeet out of the air. Smoker looking for pull, does find on to Lewis, but the Charger will get railed down without having any land to be had. So Kingdom gonna be a little bit in dire straits here, though. Stars looking like they actually want to push up here. And actually the positioning of Kingdom's cars will actually cause quite a hindrance here, and they're actually going to run right past one of the cars. He missed the first hit on that, he misjudged it. The car gets stuck on top of the bridge, and now Stars have to be aware that there's also a car down the bottom. The guys should go for a drop down on the Witch. They do grab it. That was incredibly risky.
Yeah, risky as hell. They do get a punch on Zoe, and Keening's tank is just getting butchered now. A couple of melees, and they're just surrounding him. They have to get this hit in, and Zoe does go down. And Bill's getting cornered. Charger missing. He's just punching Bill up this cliff. He just goes for one. Kingdom gets out. Misses the ladder.
I don't even know. Beautiful rock there by Kingdom, arcing it over the little railing there. He's going to go ahead and toss another rock down on Lewis, but Lewis does sidestep it, gets out of the way. So now there are two survivors incapped here. And that was actually pretty funny because Lewis was trying to pass the tank pills at one point. He was right-clicking the pills on that tank. But they do get the pickup on the Zoe here in the backfield. With the Witch also dealt with, that's going to make things a little bit easier. But that was a really heads-up play there by Team Boys or Boy Scouts, because they had to actually take that Witch because of where they were actually maneuvering over to, and they didn't want to risk that Witch getting triggered when the tank was already on them. So that was actually a really good call by them. A little risky, but.
And that jockey really delayed the pickup at the very last millisecond, and a Boomer running down for a double boom. They are really making it hellish for Boy Scouts here, not allowing them to get the pickup on Bill.
This tank doing really good with these rocks, though. Beautiful arcs, though, over the railings.
Yeah, and Keening is just eating through Boy Scouts' damage bonus here. I mean, every rock he's landed so far has actually been on the temp health, and it's already down to 51%. So he's whistling down the bonus even though he's landing on temp health, and there's a charge at the back taking him up into the trees, and that's an in-cap on Manzano. And Smoker pulling Bill back as well. and killing his companion charge of a rock from distance.
He wanted that frag, and he got it. But pickup will go out onto the survivor at the top of the hill there. Zoe will get you punted off the bridge. How did she not die? She screamed.
She did scream, yeah, but I don't think the I don't think the
drop.
height. Yeah, I don't think there was enough height on it, so he was actually kind of saved there by the distance.
What a punch! I've never seen Survivor actually fly so far. But it does look like Kim's going to go ahead and run this tank back now, or I should say forward in the map now, down to 10% rage, and the tank only has 66 HP left to its name. So this will be a dead tank here very shortly. Survivor's actually backing the way up, all the way up to the top of the hill, looking to negate the rest of the damage here. And it looks like they're actually back in the safe room. Yeah, they're actually all the way back there. They must have been low on ammo.
That, also, well, the obvious fact that they're actually low on temp health as well. I mean, we got Snyder and Manzano getting closer and closer to 1 HP. They've all eaten 1 in-cap except for Hunchin, of course. He's got perm health on him. They do kill the tank who go AI. And now they've got the ladder choke to negotiate again.
Indeed, this is going to be pretty rough now. Once again, only Hornchin. That's not even Hornchin, is it? Or
it is him, yeah.
Oh, it is actually him. I thought it was just someone else using his name. I didn't remember the avatar being on his profile. But regardless, they do start maneuvering their way up the ladder here. Boomer goes out in the Bill. Charger, Jockey spawning up. Bill doesn't. I'm getting pulled. Jockey now taking him forward up the ladder, getting punched by the Charger. Lewis picking away at the SI here, but getting no kills onto them. And now there are still 3 SI up with 2 survivors. And actually, that's a double cap right there. That is most likely going to end it. Yeah, Francis gets taken at the bottom. And that will also be the in-cap onto Lewis. Beautifully played there by Team France. I mean, for that tank, he only had, what, 500 HP left when he climbed out? And for him to land 4 or 5 rocks that he did, there's no reason for that to happen. Like, if the survivors literally just stuck the pickup onto the survivor that was by the ladder and stopped trying to, like, dodge him and try and skeet them, and just, you know, ate the 1 rock, got the pickup, I mean, that would have solved everything for them. And I think they would have been much better off just eating that first initial rock, and then they could have backed up to a safe spot. It just feels like they were too long. They were down there for too long.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, so at the same time, Team France actually somehow were timing it miraculously. Like, they were sending in spawns 1 by 1, doing just enough to actually delay that pickup, even though they were trying. But yeah, as you say, they could have done, if they were just a little bit sharper, they probably would have been able to get him up in time, even if they had to eat a couple of rocks to do it. Yeah, that's quite a problem, and it's not a good thing for them to be on the back foot here, especially on this first map, because this tank is somewhat doable for the survivor.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't get a nice car hit with this tank, or, you know, your SI got shut down pretty easily. I mean, there's not really all that many spawns for SI to even spawn. But if they do get shut down, this tank, I mean, you can definitely see this tank get absolutely demolished here. But at the same time, if a lucky car hit lands, or the SI just, you know, really nail their hit when the tank commits, it can easily spell a wipe. I mean, the Horde, the thing is, the SI don't have any spawns, but the Horde spawns all over the tree line, and they will just collapse on the survivors.
Yeah, we have a Charger, Smoker, Boomer, and Hunter for this choke. They've got the Witch. Are actually going to go for the Witch, and Lewis goes and grabs it.
You got a death wish?
Indeed, so they do remove that problem. They're probably thinking, you know, we're probably going to end up fighting the tank down here at some point, so let's just remove that factor from the equation right now. And, I mean, that's definitely thinking ahead. They know that from where that tank spawned, they're not going to be able to actually push it ahead as I thought that Team Boy Scouts might have been able to do. Or Scout Boys. I keep calling them Boy Scouts, but I'm not too sure.
Maybe. They are Boy Scouts, yeah.
Oh, it is? I thought.
Yeah, it is Boy Scouts.
Oh. I believe the title of the stream might be wrong. But double boom going out onto Lewis and Bill here. Actually playing in a pretty decent spot. I've never seen a survivor actually stand where Bill is. He's kind of on the pipes that are hanging off the wall there. But Hunter goes in and gets really chipped down, actually killed off by the hands of Zoe down below the bridge. And now there's only 2 more SI at the top here. Boom is recharging, obviously. Pull going on to Lewis. Another boom landing on Bill. And Charger is going to get punched. And actually, nice level there by Lewis.
Wow.
Lewis being held by Razor, obviously. And a beautiful shutdown by them. Razor taking quite a bit of damage, but still much better than it could have been.
Yeah, it was a nice bit of parkour going there from Keeney. He was just in a good enough position to help clear the tongue off of Razor. He did sustain a bit of damage, but the main thing is that they got through that ladder choke and probably have to go through it again, because now the tank is up in the hands of Hunchin, who's going to make his way forward right now, probably with a couple of hittables in tow.
Indeed. So we'll see him play with a couple cards here, making some more work here for the survivors as they're going to have to try and maneuver around all of these. And I actually don't know how many cars here are really hittable. I believe there's the one that he's bringing out and then one more out here, yeah. I don't believe the car on the left side is hittable.
I tend to forget which ones are actually hittable, which ones aren't. It's been a while since I've played a tank this spawned this far back in the tunnel.
I mean, with the number of cards that he actually has at his disposal right here, I wouldn't be surprised if he actually goes into the safe room with this. And that car will actually fall off the bridge. I was just gonna say that car is in a really awkward position there. And actually, he's on second
honestly,
pass.
yeah, he's actually better off leaving that one down at the bottom and then using this other one up top that he's got right now as a means to sort of make them think twice about pushing ahead.
And I mean, he does have enough rage to definitely get in there as well, though, but he's losing it.
He is, yeah, and 25% second pass. He's gonna like to throw rocks, so he's gonna try and throw a couple rocks.
This is definitely risky.
Yeah, we got a Hunter prime for a DP. We've got a Charger and Smoker also in waiting. But they're not actually going in yet. This is peculiar from Boy Scouts.
Yeah, hopefully he gets a good car hitter, though. Oh, really weird ricochet there by the car, bouncing off the other one that was stationary. But he does actually go ahead and look for a corner on Zoe. Misses the first punch, but he's going to go back for the car. Hits it up towards Lewis, barely whiffing him. Oh my god, and 25 does land on Lewis as well.
Stuck. Oh, that was a weird charge there. I don't know what happened with Brazil, but he's been in-capped up top there. Is he actually stuck up there, though? Or can they get to him? No, they can get to him. I think they can get to him, actually. But Hornshin's had to try and relocate with Bill harassing him, who does get a punch. Hornshin's now pretty much having to play up a tree line. Yes, he did manage to get him back up.
That was actually really close. Lewis took a risk actually going up there, and actually Boomer does land out onto Francis. They're going to call a bit of horde to actually work their way in here. And I don't know if that tank can actually get to that car. It looks like he might be able to. He could probably rocket down the hillside.
Oh, a 25 DP!
Yeah, he can actually reach that car. But it looks like Zoe's having a bit of a rubber band issue here, and that rock is more than likely going to hit her in the back of the head, I think.
It could, but I see Lewis and Francis are actually noticed the rock as well. They're looking at it right now, as is Bill. So the other three are ready to sort of like try and skeet it if they can.
Indeed, and we are in the midst of a pause, but the ready-ups do come out. Tank down to around 800 HP. Actually, 900, I lied. Car goes in. Ew! Whacks Yosh in the back of the head. He actually turned and looked right at it as it hit him. What a car hit. And that's going to cause the rest of the other side to go in here, and he's going to look for another car hit. Charger does connect on the one survivors. He hits the car over towards the survivors. It will ricochet off back towards the safe room, and he should probably back out, but he's actually going to keep going in. He's not afraid of it. Down 200 HP, 50.
Whoa.
I mean, that definitely helped out there, that last car hit.
How's my face?
Oh, that definitely did help out. And they've already done a bit of DB damage to Razzle's temp health. So, I mean, it's not the wipe. Yes, they're on the back foot, but there's still like another half of the map to go, essentially. They got a Boomer at the top on the side. Sugar gets M2 away. And Lewis, oh wow. He was so close to being stumbled off the edge there. I thought he was probably going to suffer an in-cap. Charger drying, and yeah, didn't really do much anything there. They've still got a spitter up, but it hasn't spawned yet.
Yeah, so we'll see Team France actually making the way past the tank here. Obviously, two of them did take an in-cap there during that tank fight, but Kidum and Soul both sitting very high with the health, way up in the 80+ range. And so their health bonus thus far is going to be 308. I mean, that doesn't sound like a lot, but you got to remember that Team Scout Boys actually did get wiped on the tank from their half. So they're only sitting at 145 distance points with really nothing else really helping them out for this round. So they're looking to go down by around probably 400 or 500 here on the first map. But attack does go in. Spit and Pounce working together on the second floor. They're doing a bit of damage to Francis. And Boomer waddling his way from behind, gets a single boom onto Razor. And I believe the Smoker's probably going to look for a despawn in this.
Yeah, so they just, they pretty much got one hit up, I would say. Now that Team France are pretty much on the home stretch, they're heading into the final area now, and their bonus is actually quite good for this first map, because there's only 300 distance, so maximum bonus will be somewhere around 900, and they're just shy of like the 50% mark on the bonus. So this is a very good start. But for Boy Scouts, it's sure as hell's not over, because they are mostly a Left 4 Dead 1 team, and we are on a Left 4 Dead 1 campaign, so it's still looking pretty good.
Indeed it is. So we'll see how well they can take this last hit. Looks like they're going to go a little bit early here. Jockey's going to have to reposition himself, though, but it's going to be a Smoker Charger looking to come from above with that boom. And the Jockey's probably going to be on the ground floor looking for a bit of a distraction. Smoker does rocking in behind, lands onto Zoe with the help of the charge. And the boom's going to walk and gets a nice double boom. Jockey all alone now. Will land one scratch onto Lewis, but it looks like that's all that's going to be able to be done here. Jockey looking to maybe cause a little bit of harassment on the back end, but he actually gets shot out of the air there by Zoe. So good shutdown. I mean, we just see a little bit more damage going out to Sol, who was one of the main health bonuses for Team France. But they still make their way to safe from 512 score for them versus a 145 of Scout Boys. And, you know, definitely not what you want to, where you want to be after one map, especially going against Team France. And, you know, Scout Boys are going to have to play better because I don't see Team France faltering at any point in this match.
Well, their lead that Team France has is actually amounts to 367 points, which isn't like the hugest gap you've had in terms of like map 1 differences. And the next maps that come along are actually quite more valuable in terms of distance as well as bonus. So, despite what the score difference looks like in numbers, it's actually a little closer than it seems. And especially on a campaign like Death Toll, where things can actually swing around, especially in the or any one of these falling maps, truth be told. I mean, these tanks can be quite dangerous here at any part of this map. Got map 3 where, you know, one well-timed bit of separation combined with a car can cause havoc and end things for a team that makes a mistake. And of course, you've always got the map 4 tank, which always ran back to the beginning area just outside the church, where pretty much all the tanks try and go hittables galore.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And yeah, thank you guys once again for tuning in. You were watching Team France take on Team Scout Boys, or Boy Scouts, whichever one you would like to say. And we are live here with the second round. That will be a best-of-1 scenario, as both these teams are hailing from Europe. So with the lack of a ping disparity, we're just going to see one game being played here. Boomer looking to get a pre-spawn on top of the, I don't even know what I call that, like a water pump or something, but he does actually land on the 2 survivors here. It's going to cause them to recede back into the safe room. And the other 3 SI will be a Charger, a Smoker, and a Hunter. So this could be pretty devastating with the amount of separation they have here, especially in this area.
Indeed, we have a Hunter Charger going in. They're all going on the same person, though. The Chargers tried stumbling a Hunter off of Lewis. All of them trying to go for Yosh, and extremely minimal damage on the board there. They've only 4 damage from the SI.
Indeed, Sorar's wasting no time. Team France quickly pushing the way through the water down below and up the ramp, and quickly making their way towards the event, but tank will come up before they can make it outside, and it's going to be in the hands of Carlos for Team Scout Boys. And I believe, no, Carlos R is actually just Carlos R. I don't think he actually ever went by another handle.
No, that's Snyder.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's more commonly known as Snyder. So I haven't actually seen him play in recent tournaments before this, but he's sort of making a reappearance for Boy Scouts.
Indeed, we'll see Soros quickly make their way back to the safe room. We're going to look to take on the rest of this horde here. There is still a little bit trickling in, so I wouldn't be surprised if Snyder actually decides to commit here with this little bit of a residual comment. But it looks like they're going to actually just play the sack game, going ahead and throwing the smoker in, just trying to get the spawns that they want. And obviously they're going to be probably looking for a jockey and a hunter with charge. But we'll see what they get. They do get a hunter here, so they might be happy with that. I doubt they want a boomer. And Snyder's going to go and commit here. Quickly looking to make a round here onto the survivors. Does actually go to Lewis instead. Gets one punch, a second punch. It should be an easy game cap for him. And the SR making the way in as well. And that's going to be another wrap up onto Francis. And actually, he's in a really good position here. Actually, really helping him is the pipes keeping off some of the fire from the survivors.
Oh, he's in trouble now. He does get a punch on Yosh again, but he was stuck there between those pipes and pistons, and it really did not help him. And that is him dead with his tank. No incaps. Although Yosh has lost all of his perm health. But that's a very strong position for Team France to be in. To only suffer like 1 incap's worth, essentially, after that early tank.
Yeah, that's actually incredibly good for them right now. And obviously, they still have 2 sets of pills left to their names. Boomer dropping from above actually gets stuck on the little walkway path up top. So he actually doesn't rocket his way all the way into the survivors. And so he gets an easy kill there. And actually, France is picking up the op here, I believe that is, on his back.
Yep, that's Razor's got the AWP in his hands as Charger going in on Zoe and getting the split in the corner, except Bill blocked the split with his back.
I think
Zoe's vacant.
I think that was pure luck. He just jumped towards Zoe and the spit hit off his back. But regardless, very good play there. And quick clear onto Zoe.
Yeah, and the Hunter is still pre-spawned. Can't do much of anything without his support. So he's probably going to be waiting for the next hit, which is out now. Like Charger and a Jockey. They still got the Spitter as well. I wonder how they're going to do this with 2 SI pre-spawn. I mean, obviously it's not a problem for the Hunter, but the Spitter's going to be coming in late. There is a Hunter and a Charge going in at the back. That Spitter's got a hell of a job to split down that hallway, and it's... no, it was just a bit too shy of Bill.
Indeed, and actually Team France taking a lot of damage there from that hit. I mean, Kidam already dropped down a lot of health there. Razor as well being hit down into the yellow. And Soul's sitting in the high 60s right now. 69 HP for him. And yeah, we'll see 2 sets of pills still left on them as Razor pops one. And they make their way to the pill cabinet where there's even more pills waiting for them. So now they're up to 3 sets of pills. And they're in pretty good shape to make this map. Attack going in. Actually, Smoker looking pulls Zoe off for the walkway, but she does get actually cleared. But the Jockey picking up where he left off brings him off, and that was Soul, who was sitting at 69 HP just a second ago, who is now down to 31 HP, so losing over half of his perm.
He was the most bonus as well. I mean, without full damage provided by the Jockey, got pretty much an even keel with the rest of his team as far as health goes. And, well, I think Team France are pretty much on a good pace, but they've probably got about 2 more hits to endure before they reach the safe room. And I think this one was going to happen here right now if Boy Scouts want another attack before they do make the safe room.
We shall see. Survivor's currently just waiting out here, waiting out the rest of the horde that was triggered by that event. And it looks like it's going to be just one last hit for the SI. And they're going to put all their bets on a Smoker, Spitter, Hunter, and a Charger. Charger does spawn up. He might have missed the rocket in. But now he's actually up on top of the rooftop. And I'm not too sure if they're going to look at still going early here or wait for them to actually come out.
There's a witch up ahead. I'm wondering whether they're just spawning something. They're going to go in before the witch. And the Charger got shut down really fast. I think they might have landed a headshot with the AWP from the Charger when he was raining down on them. So it was a very quick shutdown on the Charger, and the rest of the attack was dealt with. And Soul gets the witch crown.
Yeah, that Charger must have gotten shot in the head by the off. I mean, there's no other explanation. The moment he jumped off the building, he was immediately killed off. And we'll see a bit of a delayed split go out, but they just run through it anyway. Do make it to the safe room with a bonus of 260. So not too shabby yet again. And once again, this is one of those maps that are really hard to make, especially with this tank in the safe room. It can go good, it could go bad really quick. And unfortunately for Team Scout Boys, their SI really didn't help out the tank all that much. So he definitely had a little bit of a trouble, or a bit of a situation on his hands.
Yeah, if Boy Scouts somehow do not manage to actually get past the tank and actually make the safe room, then they could be in real trouble. Because maps 3 and 4, well, there's always potential for a comeback, especially map 4. We saw that with Abnormal versus Millennium, where Millennium just scored a ludicrous bonus, something like just shy of 1,000 on map 4. So, I mean, that is still a possibility. But you got to look at it, the performance on a consistent basis as well, and say at the moment France are edging it.
So we'll be going live here with the second half. Once again, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. You guys are watching Scout Boys on your Survivor half, going off against Team France on the SI. And Scout Boys definitely have some makeup to do here. Around 1,000 points down on Team France after 2 maps. And we'll see if they can claw back any on here. But attack going in, 2 gang boomed in the safe, and they're going to fall back into it. Charger does whiff. Smoker gets cleared off, and Boomer will be actually proxied onto Zoe. So that ends up with a tri-boom. Smoker grabs some scratches. And I mean, what was given, they made it the most out of it for sure, because you saw 2 of the survivors in the backfield actually get boomed, and then immediately retreat back into the safe room. And I mean, if they could have just landed the caps on the 2 up front, the common would have held them in place, like the 2 in the safe room.
I just noticed, I think Honchen accidentally took his pills after taking that attack.
Oh yeah, he did
essentially one set of pills down. Honchen's made quite a blunder there.
So not something you see too often. Compose yourself, Garrett. But Charger going in, looking at him. Charger survives back up the pipe, but not going to find it. Tank up for Yash. And we'll see how well he can represent Team France here. And it looks like he's actually going to decide to run in from an alternate route here. Yeah, he's actually going to climb up from the upper pipe.
Yeah, it's Yosh's tank. He's actually putting some solid tank performances for Team France over the past few cups, so he's certainly capable of causing some damage here. But it's just about him buying his time. He doesn't want to soak up chip on the way. Smoker getting killed. Yosh's 70% second pass. This actually might be a little bit tricky for him. They're going to be 10 seconds away from game of spawn. They might have it in time, but yeah, I was a bit concerned there with the timing of that stack. Here he goes. He misses a punch though. He kind of missed that jump, and he's being kited around. Oh, Lewis just dropped into his fist, and there's a double charge going on. Zoe's trapped in the corner, and the tank now has her. They're just the love here is being spread around.
Oh, the triple!
Punch. Oh my goodness!
You want love? You just got a lot of love from Yash. Wow. Massive amounts of punches, a lot of doubles, a lot of triples. And we see the survivors just absolutely decimated after that tank by that Team France. I mean, wonderful SI support, beautiful double charge, and it really just made everyone just bunch up together for that. But Charger actually really looked for an in-cap charge here. Maybe Hunter goes in onto Lewis. Spicker's on top of it as well, and he's going to take Lewis off here. Zoe actually gets charged up as well. That's a death onto Zoe and an in-cap onto Lewis. What a charge!
Oh my goodness. They are just taking them to town and returning them back home with all of his SI attacks, followed by the tank. A double charge was ludicrous. He actually waited as well. It's like they could have cleared, and the Smoker's got Francis in the split.
Indeed, and actually Francis is almost in-capped here. If the split got one more scratch or a tick, that would have been in-cap. But what a charge. Zoe trying to be a hero and get that level onto Lewis when he got charged. But it just wasn't meant to be. And now Yash looking to maybe get an in-cap on Francis does find it. Triple proxy onto everybody. And Francis just getting hung over there in the corner. And now Bill's got to cut his losses and just run and probably go for distance here. But Charger's not going to let it happen. Does end up taking him into the corner. And that will be a wipe onto Team Scoutboys. What a charge.
Oh my goodness. What a charge. What a tank and what an SI performance by Team France. Really on their A game this match.
That was incredible SI play. I mean, all throughout that half, that was just immaculate. You couldn't really ask for much more. And that double charge was just like the icing on the cake that nobody wanted except for Team France.
Yeah, well, two of the survivors at the front had already dropped at that point, so only Zoe, I think, was actually in line to sort of do anything about the charger. And whilst Lewis was still in the get-up animation, I don't know, I guess Zoe just couldn't dish out enough damage in time to get the kill. But yeah, when you're actually on the receiving end of that, it's pretty hard to actually melee to death a charger whilst he's already got someone in his clutches and he's coming towards you. It's not easy to sort of time that right.
That was pretty... That was a sick double charge. I mean, you always, like, on the SI side, whenever you see a survivor go up there and that into the upper pipe, you're always like, oh my god, I wish I had a charge. I could just take him off and get an in-cap. But to, like, land a double charge or something like that, that's, like, the ideal thing to happen. Like, that's really all you can ask for. Like, anything more is just, like, survivors had to have had some bad luck there, you know, bunching up. But a double charge, that was pretty good. I mean, it's also partly on Zoe's fault. Or Zoe's part, that she kind of went for that level. She should have just taken out a gun and you know, kept shooting the charger.
Yeah, it's, but at the same time though, they were so low on health. It's like even if they like hadn't sustained double charge there, I seriously doubt they would have even made it further than the event. If probably getting wiped before the event. Such was their health.
Oh yeah, they were in dire straits after that tank. That tank did an amazing job with the amount of multis that he got, and the SI as well helped him out. And that's really just how fast you can see that things change. When the tank initially went in, he was having a hard time finding anybody until Lewis actually gifted him, you know, himself by dropping off of the upper. I don't even know what that should be called, like piping. But he dropped down right into the tank's face. Tank read it perfectly too. He immediately turned around because he knew Lewis was going to drop down behind him. And he got those initial punches from that target. But then you saw he was down to 2500 HP after getting 2 punches on him. He was in really a bad shape at that point in time. And then the SI came in and it just shifted the whole tank momentum. And he just started going ham on everybody.
Yep, and we're just waiting for Snyder ready up. And we'll be going live on map 3. I'm not sure what he is at the moment, but we do have a boomer, jockey, spitter, and I believe it's a hunter? Yeah, it's a hunter. So it's a 2-2 to begin with. Looks like the boomer's going to go immediately, judging how he's right above his survivor's head. Or heads. And got the hunter wing around the left, got the spitter up above on the upper roof. And the jockey looks as though it's going to come from the tree. So, very slow basing here going on. And the boomer getting popped. They were actually timed that just right, but there is a jockey and a hunter going out. There is a spit as well on Yosh. And good, actually not too bad amount of damage, to be honest. It's about 45 damage for the SI there.
Yeah, that's definitely almost as good as you could actually ask for a 2-2 and boomer getting popped immediately. That was definitely well played by them. And we'll actually see Francis go up to the top looking for a scope. And he doesn't actually... Oh, no, he does actually find one. He finds the scout up there. And I believe that is a static spawn, just like it was in Left 4 Dead 1, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so, yeah. I think there always used to be a hunting rifle there toward the tower. And there is the witch who has been aggroed. And who she drew her? Was it the scout? Oh, she's stuck on the car. And the hunter's going to see it. This boomer, though, landing a boom. And Yosh actually was the one who she was going for, and that she does get the remote crown. So that's the witch handled. Pretty much just the tank that's coming up now in the event. That's pretty much the main concerns for Team Francis Survivor right now.
Indeed. So we'll see tank coming about 65% away through the map. But Jockey actually brings Lewis down through the hole there. Really nicely played. And that's going to cause him to have to backtrack yet again and try and make his way across it successfully this time. The other 3 SI are going to be a spitter, charger, and charger actually goes in, does get shut down though very heavily there by Zoe. But they still have that smoker, and smoker grabs a pull and a build up front. I am not too sure about that. I feel like he could have offered a delay.
Yeah, that wasn't an unorthodox pull there, but I think by the same token, though, the smoker was the only one remaining, and they had 2 in watch. But I would have tried to go for a delay there as well at the back rather than minimal damage up front. Got a hit up, and we got the tank up as well now. We've got a hunter and a jockey going, and jockey getting skied, hunter getting shut down. We've got a boomer at the front, and it gets popped, and a charger missing as well. That's the attack not really doing anything there. This tank is in the hands of Manzano. Pressure's pretty much all on him and his support to salvage something from this game now.
Yeah, I mean, Scott Boy's really only back into this is going to be if they can actually get a wiper with this tank, and then they have to start making these next 2 maps. I mean, this is not something that you want to leave down to the finale. The finale can be very, very touchy, especially with the tank spawns. If you get an immediate tank spawn the moment you set foot outside the safe room, the SI are going to keep you in the safe room, and the tank's probably just going to end up committing on you inside of it, which really does spell disaster unless you get all the melees on your back. But, so... We'll see what Manzano and Co can do here. Looks like Zoe's going to go and position herself on the 2nd floor of the tower, which I've never actually seen a survivor actually go up there. Very interesting.
It is interesting. Can also be a bit risky. So that Smoker's looking for the port, except she's using that unit there as cover. And actually baiting the Smoker out. But the tank is going in. I'm not sure. This tank has went up the stairs and then he just jumped down, and now he goes in for a punch on Francis and then another punch. Jockey's got Zoe though, and this Smoker's having a horrid time trying to land on someone. He does get clipped as Keening, but Yosh is now up top. Yosh is stuck in this. This is one of the most peculiar tank fights I've ever seen.
I have no idea what just happened. I feel like they were just running up and down the flights of stairs.
Oh, and the...
Oh, server crash. Oh no, it's back. That was weird. The server like micro crashed or something.
It did, yeah. It just froze up all of a sudden on my screen too.
Huh.
But there is a rock coming, so they're just really ready for that. No, actually the rock's gone. So walked back on itself, and no rocker saw in the middle of that pause screen. But actually, I mean, it's not a wipe, but it's still decent damage actually for this tank, despite how unorthodox the whole thing went.
Yeah, that was very strange. That was definitely amusing, though. I had actually a really good time with that. But another rock going in, not going to find a target. Obviously, Francis is still holding on to the scout, though. And it's going to be one shot, two shot. Tank gets killed off. And we'll see a smoker going for a pull here on to Lewis. Does find a DP as well landing on him, but I believe that does actually knock out the DP damage as he was in the action of being pulled. So, good play there. Good tank by Team Scout Boys. Good damage. Only one pill left on Team France as it stands right now. And it looks like they're going to make it across the trains here.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they're sort of fully processing like their SI play properly, Boy Scouts, because they used that smoker up way before the crossover choke point. They got a double boom up the front. They have a charger and smoker waiting, and they're just going for Yosh. I mean, there's still plenty of DB on the bonus, so but I think that spit was just a bit shy though.
Yeah, this is actually pretty unfortunate for Team Scout Boys. I mean, they're landing some charges here, but the spits just seem to continually be missing. I mean, they're not close enough, or they're charging too far away, or the spit's just not arcing it high enough, and it's not getting that drop that it needs. And yeah, it's just really unfortunate thus far. And I think that's like the third or fourth spit actually that's missed.
Yeah, they have missed quite a few of them this match so far. We've got a good chance to make up for that now with a Hunter, Jockey, and a Spitter. I'm wondering if they want to try and actually go inside if possible, and like try and sneak their way in. But Yosh is keeping watch at the back door. And it gets jockeyed actually, and the scout's going to try and clear him. And they're all just piling on Yosh.
I mean, they are knocking out the damage bonus. I mean, 45% left on it. So we will see pretty much all the bonus being depleted almost here. 29 left on the health bonus, and once again 45 on the damage. And no pills left. I'm sure they'll find a set of pills or two inside of the cemetery, though. Because I don't think they found any just yet. Or, no, they found one, I believe.
I can't see if there's any spare sets of pills around this church. It doesn't look as though there is. We had a boomer trying to actually boom through that hole in the wall, but no one was near enough for it. And charges, I mean, these last couple of charges haven't really been landing for Boy Scouts. So now we've got two survivors bleeding out. We've got Keenim also bleeding out, but with a bit of perm health. That health can actually bleed out pretty quickly because this event tends to go on for a while.
Yeah, I mean, they have definitely probably 3 more hits from the SI to actually go through, depending on how quickly the SI actually throw the attacks out here. First hit is going to be a Spitter, Jockey, Hunter, and a Boomer. So Boomer going in, doesn't land the initial boom onto Bill here. That is going to lock up one of the shotguns here. Hunter landing on top of it as well. Jockey bringing Manzano off of the tombstone that he was on top of. And it's going to be a little bit more damage all around to the health bonus, I believe. Actually, Bill, he was part of the permanent, so he's actually still working down the health bonus. I had to think for a second.
Yeah, so basically, like, still a bit of both, and everyone's just as tasty on the menu, essentially. So, as long as they sort of focus their efforts on trying to get a good boom or trying to get, you know, multi-caps, it's generally the way to go for SI. It's the only option they really have right now. There is a Hunter pre-spawn at the back. We got a Spitter as well. I think the Hunter was stuck for a second there. The Charger missing, Smoker pulling Yosh. That Spitter is going to get shut down as well, eventually. But, yeah, that SI hit really didn't pan out at all for the Boy Scouts. They sort of like missed a couple of times. The Hunter got stuck a little bit or something. Charger sort of mischarged and doesn't get anywhere near. And Team France is just dabbling on the piano while waiting for that safe room door to open. But they do actually got a bath bag actually. Hunter briefly landing on Bill. Jockey taking Francis out into the other room. And the Charger getting a couple of fists and down in Yosh.
And this actually resulted in a wipe here. Actually, Jockey does get shut down. Kinem is one scratch away from anything, though. He's taking an in-cap. And Bill's taking a couple of common hits here, though. But that will be safe from Kinem. Almost taking an in-cap there. Incredibly close.
That was close, yeah. And those commons actually were stuck at the door. Which was surprising because they weren't actually being shot at, I don't think. But if they had just one had gone through, probably would have scratched King down. That could have been disastrous for Team France. but nonetheless, they do have a 1,788 point score, and that leaves Boy Scouts to a 1,531 point deficit to come back through, with this map remaining, plus map 4 and finale to go as well. This is a hell of a mountain for them. I mean, they can do it. I mean, they have most of the Left 4 Dead 1 roster in play here, but Team France have been performing better. They have been playing more consistently, and Yasha, I think Bill had a really suitable raincoat, and his Bill crashed.
Bill might have crashed, I do believe, but he's actually not in the spit, so that's a godsend. But yeah, so they do take that first hit. They take actually quite a bit of damage there. Jaguar taking around 15 damage, I do believe, from it, and then everyone else kind of getting rung on to, except for Francis. I believe he's at 100. I can't tell. It looks like 100 though. But yeah, so first stack is out of the way. They still have the tank to deal with. We'll probably see them go up the radio tower in the middle of the area here and go grab the scope, which is a scout, I believe it was. So
it is a scout, yeah. It's really a case of how they choose to position themselves as survivor, where they go to fight the tank, and if they do take the scout, they've really got to justify the usage and taking it in the first place. They need to get as much chip as they can long range without being like too far forward or being too greedy in general. As long as they can do that, they can actually make things a lot harder for the tank, and that might just give them the chance they need to get back into this game.
Yeah, that's something that I noticed a lot in the earlier stages. It's like some players that would, or some teams that would actually opt to use the scout or op, they weren't actually utilizing it to the best of its abilities. Like, they were still playing very passive with the tank. The thing is, if you're playing, you know, a semi-decent area with that's somewhat wide open, you can play LOS with the tank. Let him throw his rocks, let the SI go in for hits, and all you gotta do is just sit there and keep picking away at him. And eventually it's gonna get to the point where he can't even commit anymore, because by the time he gets close enough to you guys, he'll be dead. So it's kind of like you see some teams that don't really utilize it to the fullest of their abilities. Like, they'll kind of just all hide, and then they'll start chipping away at him as he starts his actual commit. But you can just, like, you know, let him play LOS, give him the LOS, but, you know, let the scout be the one that he's looking at, so you can kind of exchange that damage.
Yeah, I mean, back in like the olden days of Confoggle, it was actually easy to lay on the damage, considering the T2 fire rate of the hunting rifle. You could just land so many bullets. When the tank was sort of like exposing himself a little too much, or he chose to throw a rock at the wrong time, that could easily have been about 500, 600 chip for just a mistimed rock throw. And you can almost do the same with the scout or the AWP. So it's really about the tanks as well. It's difficult for them because they need to know where they're positioning themselves. They need to have an awareness for where the sniper is. And it's some of those things you don't even think about when playing Pro Mod, but it's how we in the old days used to do it. We had to be mindful of the hunting rifle. We had to take that into account when playing Rock Tank and like respond accordingly, essentially. And you could still do a lot with a Rock Tank in those days, but damn, it was not made easy.
Indeed, so we'll see Manzano actually making his way up the radio tower looking for that scope, and he will find it. It's not like it's really hidden anywhere, but the other SI attack is ready. Boomerang his way in, does miss everyone, in fact. Jockey working his way down from the radio tower, gets shot out of the air though by Bill. And the last two SI up will be a Charger and a Splitter, but they'll probably hold this for the walkway up ahead.
Yep, Manzano has a scout. They have the Witch as well as this crossover choke point. They do trigger the Witch from afar. I believe that was... I didn't see who actually that was. Lizard, but Manzano, the scout runner, has got the charge and the spit on him. But they do remote crown the Witch. There is a Hunter coming as well. Boomer getting a proxy onto Manzano. Hunter's just looking for a DP. Takes a bit of death spit as well.
Yeah, the good news for Scout Boys right now is that they're not going to be able to actually get pulled off here, but there can be a stumble, in fact, and that was almost a stumble off. Regardless of, there's a DP going out onto Francis, and he's actually taking quite a bit of punishment here. Team France not liking that he picked up the Scout.
But yeah, it's well, I mean, Manzano has a Scout, but he's taking quite a bit of damage as well. He's on 41 HP, so another scratch by common would be enough to make him run slow. And they have a Jockey up as well as a Charger and Spitter with the tank now up. Smoker 2, Charger actually went AI. But they do clear them quickly. Manzano has had to commit his pills. The tank is in the hands of Sol, who's actually close by. the survivors are opting to go back. And the scout is piling in, well, 1 bullet so far of chip from the tank. But they are going to go run back because they know that the tank is bringing the car into play.
Indeed, so we'll see them cross back across the trains, across the fence, and they're going to go ahead and drop the way, probably all the way back towards the safe room, as we see a lot of teams do normally. And yeah, we'll tank up and have to slow yet again. We can hear the scout trying to get some hits on the tank through the fence, not finding its mark though. And so the tank's going to have 2 cars here to work with. And this will be interesting. Charger goes in from behind, does land a triple charge in fact. And that's going to cause the tank to go ahead and hit these cars in wildly. No car actually coming close to survivors though.
No, but the survivors are sort of aren't being completely passive here. They are hanging forward a bit to actually see if they can score any chip, and Sol wisely is seeking shelter from the sniper. But he is on second pass 50%. He has got the option of 2 cars there if he wants to use them, but he's going to take quite a bit of chip if he's not careful. So he really needs to commit and not fixate too much on the cars, but try and get them in the play if possible. And he's soaking up a bit of chip. Oh, that car! That angle! Now the jockey's got Lewis in between 2 cars. Oh my goodness, Boy Scouts, their game just went from hellish to nightmarish. And even worse than that probably, but Smoke is trying to ground Manzano.
Sol showing some great hittable control.
Oh, that punch followed by the Hunter, landing a millisecond later. This is a wipe.
Yeah, Boy Scouts just seem like they're not getting any footing here. Manzano's going to get clawed down by the Hunter. And yeah, that's going to be the wipe going out into Team Scout Boys yet again. Now the deficit's up to 1,200 points. It's actually 1,230... What is that? 1243? Yeah. So that's astronomical. And really, if Scout Boys want any, or Boy Scouts, if they want any hope of really making this happen, they're going to have to just get a really early wipe here and hope for early tanks on the next 2 maps and get both wipes and then start clawing back 600 points each map, which is in of itself near impossible. And I mean, it's not impossible. What this map alone is worth actually a lot, but still, to make that happen, that's, you have to accommodate for the distance that Team France is going to get up until they get wiped, and it just keeps piling on higher and higher. So it's looking like it might be a GG here, but it's definitely not over yet. There is still a possibility. There's like a 20% chance of it. Yeah,
Boy Scouts say, I thought it would be a closer game than this by this point. I didn't think there would be a 1,200 point gap already. But having said that, I mean, they are left there 1 players mostly. So there is still that option, or still that possibility, I should say, of maybe making a comeback here, maybe like making it to the safe room with huge bonus. Because as we know, I mean, in this config, there's no infinite horde anymore for that event. It's not as ridiculous as it used to be. And we saw what Millennium did yesterday versus Abnormal. They pretty much got them wiped on the early tank here, and they made it with almost 1,000 bonus. So really, this is their very if it's going to be a comeback, this is their very last chance to do it, because I really do not see it happening at all on the finale.
Yeah, this is definitely the map. I mean, this map in of itself is worth 1,400 health bonus. So if we could see an early wipe come out here, and then Team Scout or Boy Scouts can make it with like half of the bonus possible, we could definitely see that gap close very quickly. And once again, it's 700 distance plus the 14 maximum 100 health bonus. So 2,100 max points for this map. I would definitely not leave anything to chance on the finale, because that tank can be very, very volatile depending on where it spawns.
Yeah, 31% is actually slightly in favor of Boy Scouts, because at least Team France won't get a huge amount in terms of distance for their tank triggers, and they can make something work with that if they actually land their SI right and somehow get a wipe on Team France. Really, it's just a case of like getting the hittable control correct and getting them in place and making sure they're in places to sort of confuse and induce panic in the survivors. Most tanks here, they sort of make the mistake of like being pot committed, essentially. Like they go all in with their hittables for that straight in cap, and sometimes it doesn't work out for them. But, you know, if you can use 1 or 2 for, like, attacking and 1 or 2 for sort of blocking or defense or just, you know, serving as a way to sort of ward survivors off or keep them locked in where you want them to be, then you really do increase your options here with your tank play.
Yeah, this tank is crucial. Like, obviously they wouldn't want to get into the situation to begin with, but like this tank is pretty much going to be the make or break point for this game. If this tank doesn't get a wipe, and I'm saying doesn't get the wipe because they need the wipe, there's no doubt about it. They got to end it at 31% of the way through the map, and if they don't, then Team France is probably going to walk away with this W. But if they can actually get the wipe and do well on their survivor half, then we could see a bit of a comeback here, and maybe that 20% will come to fruition. But as it stands, once again, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. You were watching Team France take on Team Scout Boys, both European teams. So it's going to be a best-of-1 format. This is the only game we'll be seeing from these two teams. And then later on tonight, we have another game from 2 NA teams. But regardless, we are on live here. Team France starting off map 4 on the survivor half, and Team Scout Boys on the SI.
I'm just getting my spec card up. They have a Boomer, Smoker, Hunter, and a Charger, so who knows? Death charge possibility looming here. I mean, they've got the SI for it. The Hunter is spawned on the left, and they can obviously hear him. Still haven't spawned the Smoker or the Charger yet, and Charger's gone a bit early. How's the Boomer? They barely move an inch outside of the safe room, and they just decide to go. So that's the Boomer gone. Oh, the Charger wasn't even going for the death charge. He tried going for a charge on the Lewis in the doorway and actually messed up the Smoker, his pull on Bill.
That is so unfortunate. That Hunter literally stumbled every single survivor. Even the falling one got stumbled. That's so unfortunate. That Smoker had an easy pull, and the Charger just didn't wait for it. He just went too early. Bill was literally in the perfect position for a death charge. But, I mean, hindsight's 2020. Smoker spawning up does go AI as a tank is in the hands of Times New Roman. And we do also have that op still in the hands of, I believe it is Razor.
Yeah, it's Razor. He's pretty much, I'd say, between him and Sol, they're pretty much the top 2 performers for Team France in this match, I would say. All have that incredible tank on the last map. And Razor's usually, most of the time he does run AWP, although I have seen a couple of others. I think I've seen Keenum and maybe Yosh as well run Scout/AWP so far in this tournament as well at various points.
This tank taking a lot of chip, actually. That AWP is just picking him down right now. It has him down 800 HP already, now under 5k, and he's got to start making these hittables work for him. Oh,
that one didn't quite ricochet in a good place, though. He's already down to about half his health. The SI need to come in here. This is what I was talking about. He's being committed with his hittables. He doesn't know what to do. He's sort of deciding, and now he gets the in-cap on Yosh. So that's one at least.
That's a double cap in the back.
Oh my goodness, if the Chargers could help come in and...
Oh, that's the end! No way! That's it!
Manzano's Charger had 80 HP remaining, but Bill could not get his melee out quick enough to complete the level.
Oh my god.
I actually think if Bill had stuck to his gun, he might have been able to kill that Charger, but I think he underestimated just how much damage he'd done to it.
And that's like a perfect example of just how big SI can be for a tank. Like, I'm sure you guys all saw in chat, the tank really didn't have anything going for him. In fact, he was really just getting almost decimated by the survivors. They were juking back and forth. He wanted to go for the hittable, but at the same time, they were going to juke around the corner and just make the hittable useless. There was a lot happening, pretty much.
Yeah, I was really, really concerned for Jaguar's tank there, because he was pinning his hopes on the hittables. At that point where he was close to the 2 survivors at the back, he looked a little indecisive. But that support, though, really saved his bacon. It really came at the right time when it mattered most. The Charger persevered in the end and completed the wipe. It's exactly what Boy Scouts needed.
Yeah, the tank got the 1 in cap, and then he was just pretty much put on playing goalie after that point because the double cap was happening. And now we see Lewis trying to sneak out here. Obviously, Scout Boys are now over on the survivor side. And looks like they're going to run straight out by the way they're positioning. It doesn't even look like they're going to go for anything. Hunter goes down. Actually, they all make it down very easily. There is a proxy smoker pull onto Lewis, and the Charger is going ham city over on Bill. Gets a couple punches on him, but that'll be all she wrote for that hit. And they do actually make it out, only taking around, I believe that's, what, 20 damage? Yeah.
Around about that, yeah, it's about 20-25 damage. And the AWP is in the hands of Manzano. What I'd actually like to see here is 2 other survivors going Deagle. If they can be really opportunistic, they can score a hell of a lot of long-range chip on the tank and make it harder for it. It is Razzle, though. And that's probably a good thing for Team France, actually. One of their better tank players is actually being saved for this particular one.
Yeah, Raz are a really, really well-known tank. I can't remember how many wipes I've seen come from him. He's just a really, really good at tanks. But Boomer going in, lands a single boom onto Lewis. I believe that was even a proxy. And we're going to see the scout still trying to get some damage here. That car goes way off towards the side of the quick buy, though. And he's going to look for more cars. He wants more hittables. He's actually going to take this dumpster with him. And that's actually a good hit.
Oh, ricochet against the tree, though. But he's got them placed... He's actually got them placed not too badly. Actually, he's got 2 cars and he's got 3 dumpsters, including the one he hasn't struck yet. But he's already on second boss now.
Yeah, down to 9% rage. Goes for a car hit. Does connect onto Francis. What a car hit. Another one almost connecting onto Bill. And now these stars are playing around with the hittables. They're really in a bad position. One punch on Lewis puts him over by the truck, and that's going to completely separate him from the rest of the survivors. Razor with 4,200 HP left, and he's chasing down Lewis. I mean, this tank's going to get kited quite a bit here, though.
But the Charger misses. They are still alive, but they've taken quite a bit in terms of health. And Lewis is just taking this this tank around for a tour.
Yeah, Lewis actually playing really well right now, juking this tank back and forth. And now he has reconvened with the rest of the survivors. Charge up in the backfield. Rock going out, does miss, and now Razor's all alone. Does land one more punch onto Lewis. That punch he's wanted for so long, he does get.
That was quite a runabout. It. This is like Lewis is coaching that tank for a run or two around the track.
Jaguar did 55% damage to tank.
Oh my goodness. And he wasn't even the AWP.
That's nuts.
Manzano was the AWP, and he was just sort of standing there confident, like on top of the truck. But I mean, Razzle's hit quite a few cars in his time, and he sort of knows how to position them just where he wants them to be. So I was kind of surprised that Manzano sort of stood up there, sort of thinking he'd probably just skin his head or something.
Yeah, I mean,
and the charge, sorry, the Hunter's at the front, and then Smoker's at the back as well.
I mean, this is huge as it stands. I mean, they're at a 664 health bonus, and albeit this event's definitely not as hard as it used to be, the Survivors can pretty much just hold it out because it's equilibrium. So I think it's 150 common they have to hold out through, which is about 2 SI, two maybe 3 SI hits, and then they'll be able to, take the event with no common at all. And that's really not a bad deal for them. But Lewis going for the crown does land it. Very good as well because he is one of the green health bonus that are left for Team Scout Boys. And the health bonus as it sits right now is at a 653. And it's actually only 120 common, so I lied.
Yeah, so there's essentially 4 waves of commons they have to deal with here. So it's not that much, but it pretty much would have to deal with by the time they reach the last part of this map if they had just rushed ahead. So yeah, it's pretty much the central thing. They need to preserve this bonus because it's the only thing they got left that's going to keep them in this game. Charge getting shut down. Spitter spinning at the back, and they were actually backtracking into the spit, not realizing it was there.
And that actually hurt the health bonus quite a bit, dropping down to a 580. So they took 80 damage to the health bonus just from backing in that spit alone, even though everything else got shut down. So a little bit of misplay there, and they're actually going to push this now. Maybe they just want to take 1 hit before moving, but it's not like it's going to really save them all that much.
I feel pretty crappy.
I think they're doing this because
maybe because they're bleeding out?
Possibly, but they might just be doing this so like push ahead into another area, then camp for an attack. But they're not actually. The attack's ready now. Gonna go in, and that's a tri-cap. I really question Boy Scouts' call to push that far ahead. I would have thought it made more sense to actually push ahead to the corner and then camp out for the attack there before then deciding to go further ahead. But they've still got wasted commons.
I'm not too sure what Manzano's doing, but that's the second spit puddle he's actually opted to run through. And it actually dropped him down around 20 HP just from running through the dead spit. So, once again, not too sure what exactly was going through his mind there. But now he's down to 1 HP now, and he's going to take another end cap here. Actually, they do find a set of pills. They're going to go and pass it over to him. And one last hit is all that separates them from the safe room, unless someone gets drugged down here. It's going to be a Charger, Hunter, Smoker, and a Boomer. So once Charger does actually get pulled off the cliff, Double Boom landing Charger on top of Zoe, pounding away at her. But Lewis with the quick clears. And that will be the attack up and over with. Francis getting the scope out and killing that Smoker on top of the roof as well. I heard the shot go off. But that definitely hurt the health bonus as well, dropping it down to a 205. So they did call it back, though. They are under 500 points down. That's pretty big. They were 1,200 down coming into this round, and now they're sitting only 500, well, less than 500 down. So that's definitely doable. If they can get a wipe here with this first tank on map 5, we could see it happen.
If they get a wipe with this first tank, then it's actually possible that they might be able to reach the second tank and win it on the distance points there, possibly.
Yeah, I feel like it really comes down to them not letting Team France make it past this.
14% tank.
That's early.
That's very early, yeah.
I think that's the moment they step outside the safe room. So that perfect scenario, that 20% I was talking about, could literally be happening. Oh boy. Once again, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. Thankfully, this game looks like it's going to come to a exciting conclusion here. And you guys are watching Team France and Team Scat Boys duke it out here in the quarterfinals of the Equilibrium Cup number 4. I believe it is the final Equilibrium tournament, actually.
Yeah, it's certainly the final one I'll be hosting for sure. I've had a lot of fun and enjoyment with sort of hosting the EQ Cups over the years, but it's quite time consuming. It's also energy consuming as well, and I just feel like it's time to sort of like hang up my boots after this one, essentially. So yeah, gonna make this last one a good one.
Ramirez says Lerp gets you vac banned on versus. What? I can't even read my chat. I don't even know what you guys are talking about.
Here we go, we're going live for this finale.
But, oh, indeed, it's right outside the safe room. That is horrific. That is scary. Because now these SI can just hold them inside the safe room. Your tank's already inside the garage, and they're stuck.
Yeah, they can't. There's no point trying to. Did he break the safe room door?
Yes, he broke the safe room door. We're going campaign.
Oh my goodness. Okay. I didn't think that thing was breakable.
I know they are in campaign, but tanks can break those safe room doors. But in versus, I'm pretty sure you can't. And here we go, Manzano. Oh, he gets a lockup on the corner.
And a double punch, but he's getting sliced a bit as well. Oh, that George charge. Is Jockey's waiting? Jockey gets dead stopped. Oh, and he's missing punches as well. This tank is pretty much going to be dead, I think. He's a little indecisive there at the end trying to get a punch, but he did not get the wipe.
That's pretty devastating once again, because obviously, as you mentioned, they didn't get that wipe. That's going to be 3 sets of pills popped, though. Only 1 left on Soul, and he's going to have to pass that over to Yashir very soon. I feel like that charge was really critical, and it did a good job. It got a double charge, but the tank was kind of hooked onto that one person in the corner. I mean, I feel like that wipe was really within their grasp, if you think about it, because he had 2 survivors. It was Bill and Lewis he had in the corner, but he swung too early, and he only grabbed one of the survivors.
That absolutely should have been a wipe.
He had them in the corner.
There was a double cap, and that jockey was just waiting for that last one during get up, but he waited about a split second too long, and Francis managed to land the dead stop on him.
That's really unfortunate. He swung too early. He connected on the Lewis, but Bill was also in the corner. If he swung a hair later, he would have had a double punch, and they would have locked it up. Boomer rocketing in. I don't believe they actually started the draw count on the Witch just yet, but the boom does land on the Lewis, and now the other 3 SI are looking to be a spit charge and a hunter here. They got to end this before they reach the event. That's really the only way I can see this happening. Because once they reach that event house, they're going to have 4 more sets of pills. And obviously that really closes the gap here as to how well they can, or how long they're going to actually survive, which ends up extending that gap. Oh, he missed the crown though. And actually, that might be a kill.
Oh.
No, actually, Kingdom doesn't die. They get the lash on the Witch at the very last second here. I believe the jockey is killed off as well. Yeah, he is. I heard him still laughing around. But it looks like they will be able to make it to the event and actually pick up the last sets of pills here. They're in dire straits, so they have really no permanent left. The health bonus as it stands is at 286, and I'd be really impressed if they were actually make it to the next tank.
Oh yeah, I'd be surprised too. Like, the next tank is like the second event. Oh, the
Oh!
charge like going on, but there's a double cap at the back, way in the back. And that's, with a double boom at the front, this might just be the beginning part of the wipe here.
I think this most likely will be the wipe. I mean, Manzano is probably going to get cleared off here. Indeed, he
Oh,
does.
that clear, but Soul might die. And he does. Zoe couldn't run fast enough on her little legs to actually reach Bill in time. And Soul dead. And there is a jockey waiting where Francis is, but he does manage to M2 the jockey. And this is Lewis trying to escape this jockey here with a scout. And instead opts for the M2, followed by a frying pan to the face.
Indeed, it looks like Team France will go ahead and pick up the rest of the pills that they have. The last set of pills being popped on top of Kinham. And now there's going to be a double boom going out here. And any tri-cap could end this here very quickly. But we'll have a scout up in the hands of Lewis here as they back their way onto the docks. And with every moment that the SI don't land this tri-cap, it's really just making the comeback that much harder.
Yeah, I mean, 3 survivors. I mean, it's obviously 1 down, but they've just got to keep going for distance. There was a hunter on Francis, and the smoker getting killed by Zoe as well as the spitter. If they can take this over the 800 point threshold, that's... I'm almost inclined to say that that's nearly GG. I'd say like 95 to 99% sure of it, because that early tank is going to be a lot of damage.
Yeah, I mean,
it's going to be a hell of a lot of damage.
Yeah, I don't really think that's a way for Scout Boys to really push out anywhere past that safety. Unless they decide to run through the spit, but then you run into the chance that the Charger could spawn and try charge you guys back into the spit and just wipe you right there. But Boomer going in onto 2 of the survivors, one of them is the Scout, and the attack has commenced. Obviously, a double cap landing on the Hunter and Jockey both finding their targets. Zoe getting just ravaged in the water, and that Jockey taking Lewis for a ride there. That's going to be an end cap on him most certainly. So Rad's going to take a knee here, and that Jockey's going to look for a little bit of a hop away, but will get actually rung in by Zoe.
Yeah, clearly they've got 0 bonus remaining. They sustained too much. They got no perm health. They've lost more than enough temp health as well on their feet. So no one's expecting them to sort of make bonus or even make the boat by this point. It's really just a case of how long they can stretch out that lead. And now would probably be around about the time the first event tank would spawn if it was in Pro Mod. But it's going to go past that point. It's going to be the next wave. It's going to be a double cap actually going on. It was a momentary 2.5 cap, but the tongue broke.
Not too sure about that one. But Razor actually gets self-cleared almost by the Rock. Pretty sure the Rock just won.
Rocks are OP in Left 4 Dead apparently.
But yeah, so we'll see the imminent doom of the survivors coming here very soon. Razor is black and white here. Yosh down to 18 HP. And Jockey working his way around here with I think that's a Spitter and a Hunter. Lewis gets killed off, and that's going to be a Hunter landing on the Zoe. That will secure the wipe here. But the point differential as it stands right now is to be... Oh god, it's under 900. That's 866?
856.
856. So once again, it's still doable, but the whole downfall here is that now Team Scout Boys have to make the boat, and albeit they don't need a lot of health bonus, they only need like 57 health, but that's still a very heavy task. I don't know if we've seen a team make the boat yet in the quarterfinals.
I don't think we have. No, we've had 2 quarterfinal matches so far, and do not recall either of the 4 teams so far having made it. And now make that 5 teams, as Team France didn't either. But I mean, yeah, it's kind of unfortunate in a way for Boy Scouts, because they had an opportunity there to really do some serious damage and possibly gain a wipe with that early tank the way it was. But the flip side of it is that it always causes a lot of damage, and the Hunter and Charlie trying to go in, the Jockey as well. They shut that all down pretty simply.
That's pretty good for them actually, because they can push out here.
Yeah. Oh, and the tank is taking a bit of chip. That's Keening's taking about 500 chip.
And that AI Spitter still as well. I mean, if they want to be really aggressive, they could have just pushed one person past the tank, and then it kind of like opens up that whole window for the other survivors just funneling out once he starts chasing that one survivor. But this tank's probably going to commit here.
Do kill the smoker. They can't afford to be too greedy with a chip, though. I mean, they get the walling Keening with the scout.
Indeed, and it looks like he's already down 1200 HP here. Once again, they can do this. If they can just take one incap at max, they're gonna have a lot of pills to work with. And Kenem just getting walled right now by the scout down to 4500. And here comes a commit. Does find an initial hit right on the Zoe though.
And that's a double punch. Jockey getting M2. That's a triple punch there as well. He's killing the hunter as well. Oh, Keening is getting a double punch. It's sort of going up and down for him at the moment, but he's getting these punches, and he just gets sliced down. There's a lot of damage done to the survivors.
That is almost breakable. That's a lot of damage. 3 sets of pills still left, though, and they're going to all pop them, I would assume, to keep them all fast. Even Hornshin now slow. Just barely below 40 HP, though, down to 38. But that's a lot of damage from Kenem. A lot of multi-punches. And I mean, the SI, I feel like, landed pretty well, but he accidentally actually killed off his SI upon them landing. I believe he killed both the Charger and the Hunter in one punch.
And yeah, and that's the problem with fighting in such a small room, is that the survivors are prone to sort of like running around and eventually being in the same vicinity as each other for that time to land multi-punches, and saw that in both rounds. There's just so many multis going out.
Dude, I mean, they could pull the witch from really far away, actually. I mean, all the way back in the opening, you actually see the witch, but they're going to go for the close crown, actually. So the draw crown going in, I believe it's on to Lewis. Hunter going in, not finding a target. Charger throwing out a Hail Mary charge. Does find nothing, actually. Witch lands one punch onto Zoe or Lewis and will actually get killed off. But the jockey taking Zoe for a ride will get an incap and actually scratch down Bill after getting an incap on Zoe. So I believe that was the 2 survivors who didn't take incaps as of just yet. Now taking incaps. And now it's down to Jaguar. Or no, Snyder, I mean. Being the only survivor who actually hasn't taken an incap.
I think I heard something.
Yeah, I mean, they might still have a bit of bonus, but health-wise, they haven't even reached the radio yet. They haven't started the event. It's too much for them now. I think it's pretty much GG. 99.9% confirmed.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, they only have to take another, maybe one big hit, and that'll knock them down around like the 80 HP range. But Boomer Rocketing does get a proxy onto Lewis. Charger flying up underneath the building there. Pull going in, Hunter landing, Charger taking the Smoke Survivor back up against the hillside. A little bit of a weird angle going on there. But the Smoker look for another pull on Zoe, won't find it. But that incap does go out into Francis. That's going to put him down to black and white, I believe. Monzano also taking an incap off there in the back. And actually, no, I lied. That will be Snyder's first incap. That's Francis. And Zoe, that will put her black and white.
Got Raza Spit trying to delay them a little bit more. Zoe running through Spit, though she wasn't out of it as much as she thought she was.
Check the health bonus.
Proxy boom at the front as well onto Bill. We've got a Charger wake. At this point, they might as well just send in their SI 1x1 team France. I mean, they've got all the liberty to do it as much as they please. They have a jockey as well as a Charger. And a Smoker as well, so it's a great separation lineup. Probably, I imagine they're probably more likely to get a Spitter, but they are pulling Francis. And Jockey's raining in. And they're all raining in for scratches as well. And that Spitter up in just back inside.
I mean, as it stands literally right now, they cannot pop their sets of pills because I don't believe that will actually affect their DB or HP, nor pills. But they have enough HP to actually make the comeback. They have 75 HP in pills alone. So if they pop them, they lose that bonus. That's quite the predicament. They literally can't pop their pills.
Exactly.
That's I wonder if they realize that. I think they do because they're not popping.
Yeah.
So the 3 1 HP warriors in Manzana right now. Francis will get incap though as he gets pulled off into the water though. And this is really dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of a lose-lose situation, really. It already was before the event even started, but they have 2 incaps. They just can't take that. Oh, the jockey gets one down, and he might be able to pound Zoe.
Yeah, I believe he probably got the instant recharge on it. And Zoe sticking the pickup will actually get up, plus the dead stop on the jockey to kill that off. But the Horror is not giving up as of just yet, just continually raining down the survivors. And I believe one of them did pop their pills. So yeah, it's going to drop it down to 25%. Francis actually dies off. And yeah, that's GG. They had a slight hope there at the very end, but didn't come to fruition.
And this is pretty much, I think this Charger's going to finish it all off. That's Bill dead. The Hunter's actually back, unavailable. This Charger's just crashing around the rock.
Charger Shark.
And that is indeed GG, they're calling it out. And so the final score is 2,305 points to 1,673. So it was indeed a gap of... Ooh. It's about a gap of 632 points in the end.
Indeed. So definitely a nice finale. I really felt like if they got the wipe there, that game was all of them to actually come back and win. But they weren't able to get the wipe in the safe room. Team France prevailed and made it all the way to the finale before being met with their demise. And they do manage to have one hell of a tank by Kinnem in the safe room on map 5. And that will spell the end of Boy Scouts' run here in the Equilibrium Cup number 4. And we will see Team France moving on to the semifinals, where they will face off against the winner of tonight's game, which will be Team Table Flip and Team Eclipse, I believe, facing off.